All right. So I'm just going to tell you guys my startup operating system. It's inspired by John D. Rockefeller, and it's a framework for growth that I'm using. And we're going to see how well I can stick to it and grow. But why would anybody care if I'm not even full time and I work at Whole Foods? Truth is, they shouldn't. Not because of where I work, but because they should be too busy building their own system to worry about mine. 6 months ago, uh, a couple months ago, I was working my shift at Whole Foods, you know, running for carts. In the back of my mind, I was building my startup. And honestly, I almost quit. Not because the work was hard, because I kept asking myself, what's the point? And I read about John D. Rockefeller. So here's the Rockefeller habit nobody talks about. Rockefeller wasn't born wealthy, he was born systematic. At 12, he tracked every penny. At 16, he had a notebook recording daily habits. At 25, he had a business system that became Standard Oil. The secret wasn't talent, it was compounding systems. So the growth equation is your weekly growth equals your input quality times your system consistency to the power of your time. What the fuck is he looking at? Input quality is the focused work you do after your shift. So the podcast during your commute. System consistency, system consistency is not willpower. It's a system that makes the right choice the easy choice. And time is the compound interest of consistent effort. You don't need to be full time to grow. You need to be systematic. Or at least that's what I tell myself. So the 1% weekly improvement system is every week I'm asking, what's the one thing I can improve that will make next week 1% better? Week one, better note taking template. The cost is $0. The time is 10 focused minutes. Intentional. Week two is audio learning during your commute. So, podcasts. That's 10 free hours a week of learning while you're driving. That driving is dead space. No value is being created while you're driving. At least soak up as much knowledge as you can. Week three, startup hours mindset. So you need to work in the morning, work at night. Those hours are sacred because working a job, you have to work before and after the job if you really want it. So that's what I've been doing. And week four is the first automated workflow. You could save 30 hours a week every week. And after 1 month, you've improved 4%. And after a year, you've improved 50%. And after 5 years, you're on a completely different level. So, my weekly operating system is Sunday. I do weekly reviews for 90 minutes. I review my goals, identify this week's 1%, and then I schedule my time blocks for the week. Monday through Friday, I do deep work in the morning for 2 hours. And then I go to my day job. And then I do a second block. Well, Monday through Friday, I do 4 hours of deep work in the morning and afternoon. And then I go to my day job. And then I read when I come home. I haven't been consistent with that. I have to keep reading because I'm so tempted to just go and work because of my lack of time. Saturday is resting and reflection. No work, just journaling, zooming out on my life, writing some music. That's what I'm doing. So the bottom line is you don't need permission to start. You need a system. So what's your 1% this week? Let me know.